Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are back for The Last of Us. This time on to episode number 4 of season 1. Getting to this quite a bit later than I would have liked. I've usually been able to catch these kind of very, very early in the morning, almost as soon as they drop and everything, and before I actually have to leave for work and everything. But today that didn't quite happen, so getting to this a little bit later, but not too bad, not too bad. Also got a bit of a sore throat going on, so that's nothing unusual given my recent state of affairs, but last time we had Bill and Frank. We had honestly one of easily one of the best episodes of the season, one of my favorite episodes of the season, and one of the kind of calmest and yes most kind of poignant and kind of just most beautiful kind of episodes of this season, giving us the backstory and a lot of build up to to where Bill and Frank are at nowadays, which is unfortunately because we don't get to see more of them, but then fortunately because even the way they died in itself were still very very kind of consensual and mutual, and we got to meet Bill and Frank, and we even got to see how they met each other and how they grew to become strangers and then eventually lovers and partners in life and everything. So yeah, such a well received episode, and it was such a beautiful episode in its own right and everything that fit into the story kind of perfectly, and they even included Joel and Tess in one of the flashbacks to show how they forged that connection with smugglers within the Boston QZ and everything, which is ironic because I think looking back in that episode too, I think the Boston QZ was actually where Frank was initially headed, but before he actually got in, before Bill actually invited him in and let him have some food, and then they slept together, and then years later they were together and everything. So instead of actually going to the Boston QZ, and then he stayed with Bill, but then he actually got to meet Joel and Tess later on anyway. So then they forged that connection. They made it into one of their little kind of phone books and everything with the codes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was just it was a story kind of for the most part without inflicted. I think they did show us one instance of them facing off against raiders, so like a glimpse of like a very very human threat that's still kind of ever prevalent, even in a post-apocalyptic world and everything. But for the most part, I think no infected and stuff. Just them kind of being kind of boarded in within the safety of their own kind of leftover kind of community and within their kind of little neighborhood and everything. So it was still great. It was so beautiful, and Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett absolutely smashed it out of the park and everything. It's just been such a good episode to actually watch, to react to even to rewatch after that too. It was just so great. So yeah, but now moving forward, I think but by the end we did catch up back to the present and everything. So that so then Joel kind of found out that Bill and Frank had died. He didn't see them. He hadn't actually opened the door or anything, but he didn't see them. But then Ellie read out the kind of goodbye letter that Frank left, that Bill left behind and everything. And I think in that letter was Bill's kind of final message to Joel to not close himself off to the rest of the world, because then Bill did that once upon a time, and then when he opened himself up, he received the greatest gift he ever could, which was a new person to care about, like a new purpose in life to strive for and to achieve and everything. So he encouraged him to find the same thing, which people have rightly pointed out is actually the polar opposite of the way that they actually went with Bill in the game. And I think both Bills have their merits and everything. I think both Bill have their merits in terms of like actually being like examples of where humanity is left off after all that happens and everything. But I think for the sake of this story, I think actually kind of changing Bill's character like to that, I think it's probably gonna given the changes that they've already kind of somewhat made. I think it makes more sense for this story, and I think it definitely does feel like a route worth exploring. I think like a route worth exploring, because I think pessimism and like cynicism and stuff like that, like in this kind of world, I feel like it's too easy to pull off, and it's all too kind of common, kind of common, and all too kind of, you know, like it feels in some ways predictable, whereas this one, like actually kind of like I'm striving for hope and allowing hope in, and allowing kind of new people and new things, and actually kind of allowing yourself to get attached a little once again feels like a closer analysis of humanity and all that kind of stuff. So it just feels better for this version of the story, and I'm definitely excited to see where they go with this one now. So I think we can see kind of on the horizon that like Joel and Ellie actually growing closer together because of that, and because of Bill's final message as well, among other things that have already happened is definitely going to be something kind of worth exploring and worth seeing how it unfolds and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how it goes. So week by week, the one thing that still kind of like kind of clouds my mind is whether or not I should actually kind of start like a playthrough of the game in tandem with this. But then, because I think we've only got 9 episodes left, so it's like you know, as the weeks go by, we also inch that much closer to the actual finale and everything. So I think I'm still wondering, like, you know, like, should I do it now, or should I actually just wait until the series ends? Because then, you know, I don't think hype for the series or the story or this kind of franchise in general will die down after the series ends. But I don't know, it just feels kind of strange. And I think some people I think probably are still kind of waiting to see this season end before they start to play through the game themselves. I don't know if that would kind of like mess with the rhythm of the story or something. But I don't know. I guess I'm still working that out. But yeah, either way, that's just a whole other topic. But yeah, I think is that pretty much it. I think for the most part, I think that may be it. So in the beginning, we had Ellie kind of killing an infected very, very quietly and very silently, and behind kind of Joel's back and everything, like without him even having known. So don't know, like did this season would be like a great place to kind of be introduce us to the darker sides of Ellie, like any kind of darker history that she has that she hasn't opened up about yet and stuff, and where that's going to lead her in the future as well. So I guess that's something to look forward to. But yeah, I think for the most part that might be it. So on to episode number 4 of season 1 of The Last of Us. Let's go. Oh yeah, this too. I forgot this. She picked up Frank's gun from his cabinet. Yeah, and Joel doesn't know about it. So I wonder what she's gonna do with this down the line. And it's fully loaded. Fully loaded. Joel just standing right behind her. She bent down to pick it up. Don't misfire. Learn how the safety works. Does she even know about the safety? Well, let's see what the gun smells like. It's the gunpowder and the residue. I mean, it hasn't been shot off, so there's no residue, but still. Just greased metal. God. On the one hand, I want to praise the use of location for this series, but on the other hand, I really don't know if there's any other way to do this. But the way they utilize it is just
back in the day,
brilliant.
We drove 10, 12 hours on one tank. You could go anywhere.
So where'd you go?
Nowhere. Pretty much nowhere.
Nowhere, yeah. We had the option to go anywhere. Where do you go? Just a bit of here and there, nothing too far.
Doesn't matter how much you push the envelope. It'll still be stationary.
No pun intended. Oh, a joke book? Is it a joke book?
Volume 2. Look, you get it?
She picked that up from Bill's?
Like what did the mermaid wear to her math class? An algebra. Algebra.
Oh god, this is gonna be perfect.
No.
This is gonna be perfect.
And then it dawned on me.
Wait in the truck.
Okay.
Oh, please, let's have more of that.
Livingston.
Yeah, let's have more of this. This is peak Joel and Ellie. This is absolute peak Joel and Ellie. God, her learning about dad jokes and him just being tired of them already is just the perfect dynamic. Hank Williams.
This is actually before my time.
Right.
Hank Williams. I think I've heard of him, maybe. Oh, yeah, that's why. Alone and Forsaken, yeah. Yeah, this is the music they played in the trailer. And I think in the game as well, yeah. Magazine. Oh, there's the game magazine. There's the game magazine.
No. Put that back. That's not for kids.
How do you even walk around with that thing?
Please get rid of it.
Oh, your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about.
Oh, God. Word for word. That's from the game.
Why are all these pages stuck together? I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, I'm so glad they actually included that. I'm so glad they included that. Oh, is that ravioli? Is that ravioli?
Slow down.
This is slow.
20-year-old Chef Boyardee ravioli.
20-year-old ravioli.
I actually agree.
So can we start a fire? I'm freezing.
Now, why am I going to tell you no?
Because infected will see the smoke.
No, fungus isn't that smart. This is too remote for infected anyway.
People. Yeah, people would see the smoke. Raiders. It would be like a giant... It would be like a literal smoke signal. For, yeah,
well,
for
they'll
raiders.
have way more in mind than that.
Actually smells kind of good.
Well, that would be Frank's then.
Frank was a man of class and etiquette and cleanliness. Literally told Bill to take a shower before he slept with him. Is she gonna read her puns all night? Is she really gonna read her joke book all night? She is gonna fucking drive Joel up the wall. Can he even sleep after the days he's had? Can he really sleep? Or is he just gonna...
Can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah.
Why did the scarecrow get in the wall?
Oh my god, Ellie. You said serious. Okay, that's a serious face, to be
He was
fair.
outstanding in his field.
Dick!
He's a dad, Ellie.
No.
He's a dad. He knows all the jokes. God, he probably fucking wrote that book or had like an editorial credit. This is what I mean. Peak Joel and Ellie. Peak Joel and Ellie. I would not be able to sleep after seeing that. Anyone could be weaving in and out of trees any night. And that gun is too far away. No, that gun is too far away. Yeah, I don't think he can sleep. He can't sleep.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
You don't like coffee?
Coffee! Yeah. That is like an especially homebrewed coffee. Unless they picked up some kind of instant from Bill and Frank's. Would they still even have instant coffee? Isn't that more people made?
Is that seriously what those Starbucks in the QZ used to sell?
Well, theirs was a lot fresher than what Bill taped up, but yeah, this is what they sold.
Yeah. Thing with factories now, you probably wouldn't have instants anymore. Yeah. Dirty bean water.
Eyes on the map. Tommy.
Younger or older?
Younger.
Why isn't he with you?
Long story.
Is it longer than 25 hours? Because I think that's what we got.
I mean, hey, you got somewhere else to be? Or, you know.
Cut to 12 years later, Outbreak happens. He convinces me to join a group making their way up to Boston, which I did. Mostly to keep an eye on him, keep him alive. And that whole crew, we,
Fireflies?
well, for what it was, it worked.
Oh no, maybe before them, like the survivors.
Tommy meets Marlene.
Yeah, that's the Fireflies, yeah.
She talks me to join in the Fireflies.
What if you don't find him?
I will.
How do you know?
I'm persistent.
Soon you'll learn just how much.
You got it pretty early if you want to grab more sleep.
I'm not even tired.
That was a quick cut. That was a super duper quick cut. That was a very quick cut. Yeah. No, I have a bad feeling about this. I don't feel good about this. Nah. Too obvious a trap. You're just surrounded by cars. The crossroads. Oh, and there is a clear path on the other side. Yep. Of course. But you can't make it through with the car, can you? You have to climb over and then go on foot. Cities, I think, would be too easy for people like raiders or bandits to congregate. You know, especially outside of QZs. Oh, burn spots. Yeah, those are burn spots. Is this a QZ or is this just outside of one?
Where the fuck is Fedra?
Oh, the gates are open. The gates are open.
Put your seatbelt
No,
on.
bollocks. That's BS.
No.
No, that's bollocks. That's bollocks. Oh, a brick on the... Oh, God, this was in the game too. Oh, fucking tire traps. Fucking drift. Slam him. Fucking... Oh, no. Right out of the game. Right out of the game. Okay, now, Ellie, now would be a great time to use your gun. Now would be a great time to use that gun.
When I say go, you crawl to that wall, and you squeeze through, and you don't come out until I say, okay?
Oof. Grab your backpack at least.
They're not gonna hit you.
Oof, that was
Stay
close.
Stay low, you stay quiet. Okay.
Oh, nice one. Yeah.
You motherfucker!
Right back at you. Right back at you. Oh, you could have taken him out as well. Oh shit. Oh! Oh god, what an outlier. A fucking outlier. Oh god, no. Okay, knife, yeah, just... No, a knife or gun. Oh, make a decision, Ellie! How could Joel be going out to this after all these years? Come on. Ellie, come on, take the shot.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's over. We're not fighting anymore.
Oh, now you've been shot.
I'll tell everyone you're good. My legs don't work.
Oh, she shot him in the spine.
If you can get me to him.
She got him in the spine. Oh shit, that is for our first time, that's a damn good shot. Yeah.
I'm Brian. What's your
Don't
name?
try and humanize yourself, Brian. Yeah, he's just gonna bleed out. He's just gonna...
We could just talk. I'm sorry. Please. No, please. I'm sorry, please.
Yeah, he doesn't want her to see this.
We could just talk.
Oh god, did he stab him with his own knife too? God. Okay. Oh. A moment of mutual darkness between them. God. I mean, I know I said don't try to humanize yourself, but that like him screaming for his mom as he died, that was, yeah. Oh, a giant fucking monster truck, really? Monster truck, well, not monster trucks, but still, armored trucks. Brian, oh, that's the guy that just died! Brian, God. Just got a name-dropping moment of death, and all of a sudden you just... I think this is Fedra, yeah. Kathleen. Melanie Lynskey! Yeah! Oh, I knew she was going to be in this, yeah. Kathleen, hello!
You know where Henry is.
Henry and Sam Henry? Fedra's looking for Henry?
Wonder if this is the cell where my brother was beaten to death.
Oh, you were wronged, and I'm sorry.
Or are these people fighting back against Fedra, maybe?
It has to stop now, you mean? Now that you're in the cell.
Yeah, I think this is people fighting back
But
against
before,
Fedra.
people dying was
I
okay.
get that feeling.
When you were safe and protected and ratting on your neighbors to Fedra.
They put a gun to my head.
Here,
Oh shit, okay.
have I satisfied the necessary conditions for you to talk?
So there was like a resistance or something? Like a non-Fireflies resistance?
We think it was outsiders. We found a
Hey,
truck
that's Jeffrey
loaded.
Pierce!
Not a
Yeah,
Fedra
the
vehicle, but they
OG
were heavily
Tommy!
supplied.
That's Jeffrey
Could
Pierce!
be Mercs.
Oh, I didn't know he was gonna be in this, that's cool! Damn, so Troy, Mo, Ashley... God...
Find every collaborator and kill them all.
What's Henry been doing? Because I can't remember exactly what his backstory was in the game, or what his actual mission was, besides from getting from point A to point B and taking Joel and Ellie with him. Oh god, busting down homes. I mean, this screams Fedra more than anything else, honestly.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
Thing is I didn't hear that guy coming. You shouldn't have had to. You're just a kid. You should know what it means to. I know what it's like. First time that you hurt someone like that. I'm not good at this.
Yeah, you really aren't.
I mean, it was my fault. You shouldn't have had to.
It wasn't my first time.
Killing an infected or killing a person?
Show me your grip.
Okay, good. He's teaching her. He's good teaching her, yeah.
Finger off the trigger.
Unless you're willing to shoot. Or ready to.
Now, who taught you that?
Fedra school.
Figures. Your thumb. Over your thumb. Left hand.
Yeah.
Squeezes down on the right. Got it? Okay.
Teach her the safety. Do the safety. Is there no safety on that gun?
You
Is
put it in your pack. You shoot your damn ass off.
Again, if the safety isn't locked on, is there no safety on that gun? Do those guns not come with safety? Pretty sure they should, right? I think all guns should come with safety. This is where Henry and Sam have been staying. There's food cans and a makeshift bed. And yeah, Sam has been sketching. He's been colouring. Was her brother the same age as Sam, maybe? Does she feel that much more personal of a connection to this?
Fuck.
Was this their exit? Oh, whoa, no, the ground is alive with fungi. The ground is alive with cordyceps. The ground is alive with the sound of cordyceps. So is cordyceps breaking into the city then? The actual fungi, the roots and everything?
We can deal with this after.
Kathleen.
After. Seal off the building for now.
Yeah. So it's breaking into the QZ. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Take a look around first. Ellie. God damn it.
Where'd you be without me, huh?
By now, Wyoming.
Oh, yeah. Walked into that one.
That's a fair point, yeah.
We're going up 42 flights.
45.
Oh. Oh. I love the background ambience. Yeah. Climbing steps ain't no easy gig.
Did you kill innocent people?
Come on.
33 floors, that's good.
It's gonna have to be.
Come on.
Give me a minute.
What's he now, like
Get
50 or
up
something?
Yes.
Never let it be said Joel was
56
bested
years
by a
old, you
teenager.
shit.
56, yeah.
Joel?
Ah, so that way he'll hear them coming, yeah, if anyone opens the door.
Joel!
Are you sure these beds aren't? These beds look a lot comfier. I would be really surprised if you didn't doze right off peacefully on these. These beds look so much comfier than the woods. Finally in a nice quiet place now as well. A building with a little bit of warmth.
What did you mean it wasn't your first time?
I don't want to talk about it. So it gets easier when you get older.
No, not really.
The reason I asked whether you'd hear the glass or not is because I've noticed you don't hear too well from your right side. Is it because you were shot there?
Probably more from shooting. So if you want to keep your hearing, you stick to that knife.
Yeah. Especially at this age too, 56. Be hit with a lot more like natural aging conditions.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Yeah. It runs in your genes.
Oh my god, even I didn't see that coming. I thought that was an age thing. I thought that literally was going to be an age thing. That's another one of her fucking puns. She is good. She's good. Or at least I just kind of, you know. God, such a good setup.
Stupid.
You laughed,
I
motherfucker.
didn't laugh.
Yes, you did.
Jesus, I'm losing it.
You're losing
Yeah.
it big time.
Oh, that's what Sarah and Tony used to say. Oh. Oh. I don't want to lose this. How can you want to lose this? How could you even prepare yourself to lose this? In the time of the apocalypse, that's what's beautiful. No, he doesn't hear from his right. He doesn't hear from his right side. Oh, shit. Oh, snip. Snippity snap. Ah! Henry and Sam! At long last. Yeah, Henry and Sam. Well, that was quick. That was very quick. So yeah, I feel like this episode offered up some pretty interesting perspectives of the story and of these two kind of characters going forward, and everything. It definitely kind of brought it definitely introduced a few new colours into the canvas for these characters, and in regards to like their backstories and the way they kind of present them as these characters, and how those backstories might affect them going forward, and what kind of decisions it might be having them make and stuff. So Joel and Ellie, I honestly don't know how they did it, but I think in this one episode alone, like they managed to have them with pretty much the right amount of harmony. They managed to have them having like a really jokey and bantery and light-hearted kind of dynamic, and then in the exact same episode, they had them struggling to deal with their own individual darknesses, but also the darkness of humanity, and having to deal with being pushed to their limits and everything, and discovering what their new limits might be, and all that kind of stuff, and actually kind of having a bit more kind of levity and a bit more gravitas between them and everything. So the way this episode was this episode was written in that aspect was just phenomenal. And even Pedro and Bella, as always, like from the beginning, they have been acting their hearts off, because I think this series is gonna revolve around them immensely and everything, regardless of whatever. I think I say regardless of whatever side characters they introduce and take off halfway down the line. But then even then, I think the side characters themselves are given the kind of are given the advantage of actually being kind of fully fleshed out and fully kind of integrated kind of characters themselves. Like, they're not simply footnotes in the story of Joel and Ellie. They are people. They are just as much people in their own right, and people and also elements of the story in their own right too. But then they are also the ones who managed to push Joel and Ellie forward that much more because of how much they impact them and everything, and then Joel and Ellie kind of do that to each other in tandem too. So it just it works so much what they're doing with them and how they're doing it and everything, and so much of it feels like the game, and so much of it feels like just another equally organic way of telling the story, and another way of actually kind of having these characters come together and be forced together and be kind of forced to spend this time with each other on their way to Tommy and the Fireflies and everything. So it just works. It works so well. So especially that first kill between them, Ellie's first human kill at the very least. That. I did not expect the direction that turn took. The kind of the layers they added to that scene towards the end. I did not expect that either. And especially the humanization of the enemy. I feel like I can't really I can't remember how much of that they did in the game, because I think this being the differently kind of controlled narrative that it is too. Because with this one, you just watch what the characters do and then that's it. But then in the game, you actually feel because I think in the game it might also be a case of because I remember in the second game. In The Last of Us 2, sometimes if you did take out a pack of WLF people, but then one remained and stuff, and you were far enough away, then they might kind of crouch in submission and be please, start begging for their life and everything. But then I can't remember. I think it might have been if you actually did back away, they might still come up and try and catch you off guard, and then you have to kill them anyway. Otherwise, so you could either spare them, but then have them try and catch you off guard, or you kill them right off the bat. So then but then with that one, you being with Dina, it would kind of present two different sides to you, either the merciful one or the one that's fuck everything, fuck you, I'm on a mission here and everything. So can't remember if they really had. I think they might have had that in the first game. I think just with Joel. So I think that alone being a really interesting one too. But I think with this one, with this kind of being solely out of the kind of players kind of experience and everything, I feel like it actually kind of provided that much more kind of opportunity to have it be Joel sending Ellie away because he doesn't want her to watch the guy actually die, or even watch Joel actually kill him. So so he sends her away back to behind the wall and everything, and then he doesn't use the gun either, he actually uses the knife as well. So I feel like that might be more, it's probably going to be more brutal on his end, because then knife would probably hurt more than the gun, to an extent anyway. But then of course it'll be quieter, and I think even him saying from his shooting, he actually lost some of his hearing from his shooting, so actually kind of doing the thing would be quieter, and especially the more gunshots go off, the more people further away would hear too. So that scene alone, even the guy himself actually could be oh hey, we're not fighting anymore, the fighting's over, we're all cool now, my name's Brian, my mum lives near here, and him trying to humanize and actually kind of pleading for forgiveness as much as possible, and actually humanizing himself as that much more in that too. And Yeah, I think even after that, the actual the militia, the bandits, whatever they are, actually still calling him out by name, actually calling out for him, and even finding him and the other guy that Joel killed too, you know, showing that he actually was like a part of that crew, and he was actually, you know, just everything, just yeah. I think that whole scene with it, I think, was no pun intended, executed to perfection. I don't know if that word alone would really be kind of applicable as a pun here, but still, it was executed to perfection. And I felt like with Joel, it's obviously not the first time he's killed before, but I think this is the first time he's had to worry about killing in front of someone else. Like in front of Tommy, I think with Tommy, he was driven away by the violence and then joined Marlene and believed in their ideology for as long as he did anyway. But then with Tess, I think even Tess's kind of opening line in season 2, in episode 2, was literally we are not good guys, we're in this for ourselves, so if there's anything you can use to really kind of plead your case or anything, then I'd suggest using that. Like even her kind of outright kind of admitting that her and Joel are not really kind of good people, or the fact the fact that they have like a really kind of shady moral code as it is anyway after all these years. So you know, he likely honestly never had to worry about like actually killing in front of her. He never had to worry about her being squeamish or her being too young or her being too innocent to see that kind of stuff. And like, because I think honestly after Sarah, I think Ellie is his first time dealing with a living, breathing child, probably. Or at least hopefully, because I really don't want to think about him actually having to ambush a family back in his original Survivor days. But I think, hopefully speaking, I think Ellie is his first time dealing with with what is pretty much a child since Sarah. I think Sarah dying stripped him of most of his humanity, and then from then on it was just like his time with the other survivors, and then losing Tommy to the Fireflies and everything, and then spending the rest of his days with Tess being a smuggler and everything. Episode 1 literally shows us like him cradling Sarah in his arms to then throwing like a dead kid into a fire and everything, and just having lost all hope for almost anything. She is his first time having to deal with a child, and having to deal with a child that probably also deep down like reminds him so much of his daughter in all these years too. So then he's having to worry about someone else who actually hasn't experienced the same stuff he has. So he's not, even the pep talk that he gives her is kind of that much more kind of shoddy, because they do like he's not sure how to kind of really tell someone to like he's not sure how to help someone of that age, or that kind of that kind of lack of life experience in this kind of world. Like he's not sure how to guide them, or how to kind of tell them not to worry about this, or how to tell them that they're going to be okay or anything. Like he's not really kind of sure. He's not sure how to be a parental figure in that way anymore. So there are obviously still moments between him and Ellie that kind of really kind of show him being like an actual more kind of cheerful and cheery adult and thing. Like especially like the scenes with the puns and everything too, you know. That is the beauty of their dynamic in this episode. That like he tries when he finds the time, but then for the most part, I don't know if he's had so much time to still maintain it, but then it's like he's had no reason to. He may have had time before to maintain that side of him from before everything, but then he's had no reason to. He's not really going to come across a person like this in a long time. He's kind of lost himself. He's lost more and more of himself as the years have gone by. So Ellie is his first chance that he's got to regain it, but then he doesn't know, especially because of what their mission is too. I think he's maybe not sure if it's really worth regaining all of that just for this girl, or just for this time and everything. It feels so much more kind of almost experimental, like almost kind of questionable, like how far he's willing to go to actually be the Joel that he's struggling to remember again, and Ellie has no idea what he was like before all this, and then she's meeting this guy for the first time who started off as like a really kind of no questions kind of jerk and everything, but now she's actually finding out that he's actually got like a more kind of human kind of side to him and everything. So just seeing that develop is just, honestly, it's just art. It's fucking art and everything, and so much of what was great about the game too, you know. She told him that in response to she told him that about actually having killed someone before. So you know, again, death can happen in any number of ways. So you know, she's done it before, but then that doesn't guarantee that she actually used a gun before. So and of course she did say she learned some stuff at like Fedra school. So I think Fedra being the kind of private military kind of thing that they are, and then being like an army school too, then they probably kind of would like teach her the further basics of it. But then but even him being like, oh yeah, that figures. So then even him criticizing Fedra's kind of techniques and everything. So maybe just like the bare minimum. But then the fact that she took a shot and succeeded and actually hit the guy, and she hit the guy in the spine too. He literally said he couldn't feel his legs, so she hit the guy in the spine, like her first shot on a human, and it hits them in the spine and everything. That's a pretty damn good shot. So, but then he still taught her he taught her how to hold it and finger placement too, keep it off the trigger unless you're ready to shoot, then you put it on the trigger and everything. So. And even the opening kind of showed her investigating him too, actually taking the magazine out and cocking it and all that kind of stuff. So she still knows some stuff. I think most of what she needs to know, she already needs to know. So, and if the gun jams, then that's just like a gun kind of that's a gun, like that's a technical issue, not like a technique issue or anything. So yeah, technical difficulties in munitions and everything. So. Yeah, but the fact that he actually gave it back to her and everything too kind of shows trust. But then it also shows that again, I think it's a thing that he hates that he has to do, but he understands why he has to do. Like he even said he hates this as someone her age has to shoulder so much burden of all that's going on, but then also has to deal with having to defend herself against other people in such a cruel way as well. And everything, but then he knows that she has to be able to use that, and he'd much rather have her be able to use her best defense tactic as opposed to having nothing at all, because he doesn't want her to suffer through that. But then because he knows the reality of it all, and he knows that it's better for her to actually have that gun on her and be lucky enough to not run into anything than to face the worst of what's out there and have next to nothing left besides from her knife that anyone could easily dodge or something. And plus I think guns are more kind of ranged, and with knives you have to have to really kind of hit lethality, you have to have better tactics and better techniques, and have to get up close and personal and everything. So she's small and spry, so she could do it, but still it's But yeah, even the more light-hearted stuff, the actual light-hearted stuff with Joel and Ellie was actually really well done and really great to watch. And everything like Ellie discovering the joke book, I'm pretty sure that was pretty prominent in the first book. I don't know if it was specifically puns in the game, but at least in this one was. Puns too. I think it can just kind of be wordplay or just kind of other kind of just other stuff. But yeah, either way, the her and her book of puns, her going on and on. And I think for me, the way I took that as well, was was her discovering dad jokes and him already being tired of them. I think with him, he got a decade or so at best with Sarah and actually using dad jokes on her and everything. So then, but then when she died, I think it took a lot away from him. And one of those things could have very easily been the ability and also the necessity of dad jokes and puns and all that kind of stuff. He was no longer in a world where humor was an actual valuable or kind of accepted kind of social kind of norm or anything. So actually then now adopting a new teenager who is discovering kind of dad jokes and puns probably for the first time. She has sass and stuff of her own, but then actually discovering an actual joke book that was likely published probably published back before definitely published right before the Outbreak anyway. It's gonna be like a whole new high for her and everything. So seeing that for the first time was great. I think, oh god, I love it so much. I think that slow build up of him initially starting out being just so deterred and so off put by it, but then eventually the very last joke she tells even caught me off guard, because after what they talked about as well, his age and his aging and his conditions and everything, and his own kind of hearing loss and stuff, I thought the diarrhea joke was gonna be the older you get, the older you get, the less control you have over your bowels or something. But no, it's literally diarrhea is hereditary, it runs in your genes and everything. That set up the punchline. Just absolutely beautiful, just absolutely just pinpointed beautiful. And I think again, after the conversation they've had, it kind of makes sense that she'd want to kind of end the night off on a lighter note and actually kind of have them be able to somewhat go to sleep with a lighter heart as well. So Ellie just knows. She just, again, I think I'm surprised at how well that got me. I'm surprised at how well that actually got me. But yeah, just pitch perfect setup and delivery, and timing was key and everything. Just she knows. She's learning. So I think he definitely looks older than he did in the first game. I think, or at least I think based on, because I haven't played the I haven't played the remake the remake of Part 1 yet, but I think at least in the I think even in the remastered version he didn't really kind of, I think it was definitely like, definitely a step up and everything from the visuals, but I think it didn't really kind of look it's nothing compared to what the actual remake has and everything, or what Part 1 has. But I think even there, I think he didn't really look that old. Like, I don't think, like, he didn't look in his 50s. I think maybe like the 30s or 40s would have been a good guess. But with this one, I think maybe because of the time difference too, maybe I don't know if they've actually increased the years on him compared to what the game has. Maybe they're actually letting him go grey, and of course I think again the two most kind of common causes of grey hairs that I actually know of are stress and old age. So, you know, since Outbreak Day, this dude has had nothing but that. This dude has had nothing but old age, like the ages kind of catching up to him, and the years catching up to him, and the stress building upon him. He's had nothing but that. So, you know, he's not he doesn't look like someone's grandpa or anything, but then he like they still kind of let him grow out his greys and everything and stuff. But then even for 56, he's still pretty spry, because I think, especially like considering his fight against the infected in episode 2, you know, and like even for the end of episode 1 when he took down that guard, I think granted he did catch he caught the guard by surprise too, so then he had that advantage, but then still like him having the actual strength to pummel him to death and everything was a whole different story, and then him still having the kind of the swelling on his knuckles and everything. But there's still, like, for 56 he's still pretty spry, and he's still pretty, maybe like the one cause of that being like the years have not the years have done nothing if not kind of kept him on his toes and kept him on edge and kept him always kind of ready and always waiting and always prepared for all the stuff. So it's like it's an experience thing, but then it's also the fact that he's actually so traumatized from all that he's been through and all that he's had to deal with. The fact that now he has no choice. Like even sleeping, like even sleeping in the woods, like he sleeps for like a few minutes maybe before he actually gets up and keeps a watch out, because then he can't sleep. He can't sleep. He hasn't actually let himself properly sleep for like so many years and everything. Like probably the 10 years of the outbreak and everything. And he's been working non-stop, and he's been worrying, and he's been losing himself each time and stuff. So he's just never really had a good like a good chance to rest or to really. I feel like if he actually ever let go and let everything in, he'd probably break down and just lose everything all at once, and it just wouldn't be. It would just be uncontrollable. So. But yeah, I think and I think he even has like low hearing from his, I think his right ear, I think it is. And everything, so yeah, so this is why he actually sleeps on his right side, because then he can actually hear it out of his left and everything. So, but then apart from the ending where he actually ended up waking up on his right side, and then Ellie already was up and ready with like a gun aimed at her and everything. So, but then also like those beds, I had a feeling those beds, like they've been sleeping on the floor and on probably grass in the woods and on the floor and everything, probably in the car if they got the chance to as well. Like they've been sleeping on the most uncomfortable shit for so long, for so many days, and he hasn't had a bed since the Boston QZ. He has not had a bed to himself since the Boston QZ. He hasn't had a proper night's sleep since then either, like at least in this context. So then I had a feeling being inside a building with like an adequate amount of warmth and being on like actual kind of sofa cushions, I think they were, and stuff, like actually being in that level of comfort, even though it's not like the biggest upgrade, but then even being like upgrade to that level alone would probably actually put him right to sleep, where he'd actually toss and turn and stuff like that. So I had a feeling, so yeah. And they even included the magazine scene from the game too, where like Ellie kind of stole like a gay male porno magazine from Bill's, and then just was so confused at what it was and how the pages being stuck together joke to, like, word for word they adapted that scene into the game too. So I feel like anyone watching this episode and everything who was just unreasonably pissed off at the last episode because of reasons, I think, yeah, just even further confirmation that yes, Bill and Frank were indeed supremely and adequately gay together in love, in a very, very gay way, and it was a very gay love story, and it was quintessential to this story. So there you have it. So yeah, deal with it. That's pretty much what that's what the showrunners are telling you. That's what the creators of the game, who were very, very involved with this adaptation, telling you. Just they're gay, they're queer. This story features a lot of different kind of queer characters and queer elements, so it's here. Just deal with it. So yeah. Joel did talk a bit more about like the start of the outbreak, like how him and Tommy actually started off together, like them originally joining a crew, like a band of survivors that were on their way to Boston and everything. And it wasn't the Fireflies; it was actually like it was who they were with before they went their separate ways and everything. But it was like a band of survivors who invited them in, and then they did stuff like I mean he even the way he described it, he said like what we did wasn't the best, but it worked and everything. So that those years those years, however many they were, kind of built up on Joel and Tommy as well, and until Tommy had to change his heart, and then Marlene, that's when Marlene recruited him into the Fireflies and everything. So that happened. I'm not sure if we're really gonna touch on that again anytime soon. But I think that alone that alone was the briefest of mentions at exactly what could have been in Joel's past that added to him kind of being this hardened and this kind of brutal of a survivor and being this much more kind of persistent. Because then he even said he is persistent, and his time with that crew could be just as much a reason as any. So I get the feeling Tommy and Joel could both be fighters, but then Tommy kind of succumbed to it less than Joel did. But maybe they could both be really efficient survivors and fighters, but then maybe Joel kind of lost more of himself to the violence, and maybe had less of a problem dealing with it than Tommy did. And I think Tommy kind of I think he and maybe he also didn't have as much of a problem with dealing with that, and until he saw what it did to Joel. Like with Joel, he saw what he could become, and he didn't want any part of that. So then that's why he left on that regard. But then maybe also what Marlene recruited him into, maybe he didn't have to do any fighting himself. Maybe he just had to do smuggling. Maybe he didn't have to, but having been on both sides of the ambush too, and him knowing that guy was faking his pain, and that it was a trap and everything. So so him having been on both sides, actually knowing what it looks like and knowing what it takes and knowing what that means and everything too. But then that history alone kind of showing that him and Tommy and the survivors they were with did that to innocent people who were just trying to get by, and actually made them. Because then it's like surviving is one thing, but then we recognize those characters and those people as antagonists to Joel and Ellie's story, and especially as the enemies and everything. But then because we're meant to see them that way, so then it's survival is one thing, but then I feel what people like raiders and bandits and stuff would be driven to do. Because then even Joel saying to Ellie in the woods they'll do a lot worse than just rob us too. So then people who would still be driven to kill either for pleasure or for kind of just for the opportunity to do so, or people who would do it just to send a message or something. It's what this world kind of makes out of its survivors. But then it's the question then comes can you still call yourself a survivor after that, or are you just someone who's actually able and willing to go the extra mile just for the sake of it, or just to make a point, or whatever. So then it's with Tommy, I think he has no problem with violence if it's necessary. But then if it's the one step further you go to make a point, then that's probably where he draws the line and everything. So the Outbreak kind of probably showed him more of the worst of humanity than any previous wars or conflicts ever did. Because then with the Outbreak, it's it was pretty much everyone for themselves, wars and conflicts and politics be damned. It was humanity versus the Cordyceps, and humanity all went their separate ways after that too. So then he thought maybe he saw one last chance to be with Joel, with the survivors and everything. But then after that, it was what, you go your own way, because then I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And then he joined the Fireflies afterwards. So, and then we meet Kathleen too, Miss Melanie Lynskey. We meet Kathleen. So yeah, I think she's in. I've been meaning to watch Yellow Jackets. I think that's been on my kind of downtime watch list for a while now. A show. Just to maybe watch on my downtime, because I've heard some pretty good things about it. So I think the first thing I ever saw her in was Thingy, the movie with Logan Lerman, Emma Watson, Perks of Being a Wallflower. Yeah, I think in that one, I'm pretty sure it was her in that one. I'm pretty sure. In that one, she played a slightly more of an antagonistic character and everything. If you know, then you know. That might have been the first thing I ever saw her in. But I think besides from Yellow Jackets, I'm not entirely sure of what else she actually is in. But then I still kind of see her face kind of pop up kind of here and there and actually being celebrated as she should. So Melanie Lynskey in The Last of Us, so this is really good to see. So Kathleen, so already right from the get go, she's kind of given off kind of leadership and authoritative kind of vibes and everything like she's the woman in charge, similar to Marlene kind of being the leader of the Fireflies and everything. So if we ever see them cross paths, then that would be really interesting. But with these guys, yeah, I think these guys are, I have a feeling like they're not explicitly Fireflies at least, but then I think because then and afterwards I thought maybe they're like bandits or raiders who took over the QZ or something. But then with the gates being open wide too, I think that kind of did kind of suggest like, oh, maybe they're actually people who broke in, or maybe people who broke out and opened the gates or something. So I don't know, but this might have been a QZ with no Firefly influence. It could have also just been regular humans who actually who overthrew the Fedra powers within and actually still managed to take over and everything. So could just be regular people who actually, because then even Kathleen had like an actual bone to pick with Fedra too. Like she even actually interrogated that doctor talking about how he gave people up to Fedra because the gun was to his head and everything, and actually talked about Fedra's kind of tactics of abuse and kind of in procuring intelligence and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I think people who are anti-Fedra, but then also not specifically Firefly. So I think just like also I think maybe not specifically Raiders either, because I feel like Raiders and Bandits will also kind of be more kind of prominent throughout the country where it might not be as close to the city or anything. So with this one, it's just people who were inside under Federal control originally who then managed to overthrow them and stuff, maybe perhaps through a coup or something. So I don't know, but either way, Kathleen is their leader, and she is looking for people. I think she actually lost her brother to Fedra as well. I think her brother was beaten to death in that cell that she kept the doctor in. So she had a personal bone to pick with Fedra after that. So, but she's also looking for Henry. She's looking for Henry, and she knows about Sam too. So yeah, our first glimpse of Henry and Sam. I'm not going to speak too much on them right now, for the sake of spoilers or anything. So I'm gonna wait to see exactly what episode 5 gives us of Henry and Sam and everything, and just hope it's a good one. Hope it's a good one. I mean, no doubt it will be, but we'll see when we see, won't we? So yeah, but she was looking for Henry and Sam because then she kind of I think maybe that there were other people kind of on that list that she mentioned that she was looking for, maybe kind of, or maybe Henry had other contacts or other kind of access to other info that she needed or something. So or maybe she just wanted him. So either way, she was looking for Henry and stuff, and had search teams out looking for them, and now she actually knows that the other outsiders are also in the city who actually killed 2 of her guys too. So that's gonna be a whole big thing. So now but now Henry and Sam have actually united with united with Joel and Ellie. So now they're both of them being under Kathleen's radar and everything. It's gonna be a big problem to deal with. So I can't lie to you, I would really love to get Laura Bailey in this. I would really love to see her in this in some way or another. I think, because I guess to some extent, I think I think Merle Dandridge might be maybe the exception, because I think she's being brought back to play the exact same character that she voiced in the first one, but then the other two, I think Troy Becker and Ashley Johnson are being brought back to play other, maybe equally as integral to this adaptation, but then still different characters than they originally played, of course, with reason and everything. So and then I think with Jeffrey Pierce too, I think I don't know how integral he's going to be in this, like to Kathleen or to the story or to this kind of segment of the story either. But I think so far he seems like he seems like somewhat more of like an actual closely connected character to Kathleen than anyone else and everything. So. But yeah, I don't know. Just having Laura Bailey back in some regard would just be like an actual gift. Would be like an actual blessing from the makers. So I guess we'll see. I initially thought what they were looking at could have been like a hole in the ground, or like maybe some kind of like something really really heavy that crushed into the ground having been removed. But then it'd be like a really fucking heavy thing to remove, unless it was like a jeep or a car or a tank or something. or maybe it was like a way for them to dig their way out. I thought that they could have been looking at Henry and Sam's way out, but no, it was literally just a crater in the wall that after a few seconds actually started to rise and fall, and actually almost like the ground was breathing or something. So then even the way that they actually even the way they actually reacted to that too, and then Kathleen's kind of direct orders being like, we'll worry about Henry and Sam first, and then worry about this. But for now, just keep this under lockdown. Don't let anyone near it. Don't let anyone find out about it, because we've got too much on our plate already. So there's that. So I think that was probably like a sign that Cordyceps was breaking into the QZ. I think that is like a very worrying thing in itself too. But then I think also like I think with Fedra, because we didn't see that problem in Boston, I think Fedra would have actually caught on to something like that, and then actually and then took to taking care of the problem as soon as it did. But then now with this one, with this QZ being overrun by Kathleen and her people, them being slightly less focused on Cordyceps compared to Fedra too, that's then allowed something like this to happen. So then Cordyceps itself is actually breaking through the ground and actually burrowing and extending its fungal roots and actually breaking through and everything. So I have a feeling that might be what it is. Unless it's like another creature kind of brewing under those, like with it breathing, I thought maybe it might be the roots trying to break through, or maybe it could have been like an actual creature under there trying to punch up at the ground or something. But I think could be either one. Could be some kind of new creature of immense size, which is terrifying to think about, or it could also be Cordyceps roots breaking through and trying to kind of infect the QZ now that it's open and been kind of overrun and under new kind of management that isn't as focused on Cordyceps anymore. So I don't know, but yeah, I think for the most part that might be it. I think it's pretty much all my notes crossed off and everything. And honestly, this episode in retrospect, if that's the right word to use, has just been so much fun to think about with like the Joel and Ellie stuff going on. Like it's been like, I think this one had so much more fun character stuff between them. That really kind of that really does a good job of actually shining the light on where they're going, both good and bad, and together and individual and everything, and really kind of shines the light on where they've been before, but then also kind of more importantly where they're heading and everything. So, and also kind of does slightly set up the path ahead for a bit more kind of backstory to actually flesh out both these characters a bit more and actually show us what they're talking about in terms of what they've been through, but then also kind of showing us like what more lies ahead of them in terms of darkness and threats and violence and even potential love as well. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the series holds. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this episode. So that was The Last of Us episode number 4. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up in the next episode. And everything. For those interested, the full-length reaction, along with all the ones for the previous episodes too, will be over on Patreon as always, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So until the next time, bye bye for now.